A very good morning to all the students of class 9. Students, I hope you are all fit and healthy at your homes. And today in this particular lecture, we will be starting your book, that is your civics books, and we will be starting with the chapter number 2 of your NCERT book. Because chapter number 1 has been deleted from your book or the syllabus for this particular session. So we will be starting with the chapter 2. Although chapter number 1 was also relevant with democracy, where in chapter 1 we were seeing in NCERT book, there was various experiences of the different countries around the world who have made a transition from a different form of a government to a democratic form of government. So in this book, basically we are talking about the popularity, increasing popularity of democracy, not only in India, around the world. Okay, so that is why it is important here to understand what exactly is democracy and why democracy. Okay, so in the very junior classes you have been studying this political phenomena and important political phenomena to understand democracy in India. But we will also talk about the other countries here. And for understanding that, we need to remember one very common definition which each and every one of you have been writing in the exams every time. You have just marked it and just written it down. But you exactly don't know what it meant. Okay. So the definition which you usually used to write, you used to mug up and write down, was democracy is a rule of the people, for the people, and by the people. So in this definition you will find people 3 times. So here in democracy it means peoples are playing a very important role and it's people's rule. The meaning of democracy is people's rule. People's rule. Okay, so when we talk about a democracy or a form of a government which is a democratic form of government, it means in that people will be playing a very important role for electing their own representatives who will act and react on behalf of the citizens who have elected those representatives. So democracy is a form of government where there is a rule of people, for the people, by the people. People are given the most important place in a democratic form of government. Okay, so this was a definition which you used to write in the junior classes. Although this is relevant and significant still, but in this chapter we will be talking about a very simple definition, and on the basis of that definition, on some of the keywords of that definition, we will try to understand the various important features and principles of democracy which we must know if we have to differentiate between democratic and non-democratic form of governments. We must know those important features and principles of a democratic form of a government. Because recently, as I said, there is so much of popularity to have a democratic form of government around the world. So everyone is pretending to be democratic. Although they are not the true democracy, but they pretend that they are having a formal government where people are elected, but they do not have the final decision-making powers in their hand. In those countries, the power is centralized with one person, maybe a monarch, maybe a military rule, or some other form of government. But still they pretend to be democratic. So in this contemporary world, this has become very important that we clearly understand and differentiate those countries which are following a true democratic form of government and which are pretending to be so. Okay, so for that we need to understand the clear meaning of democracy in detail, and this will be only understanding through a simple definition which is given in your book. So we will follow that particular definition which is given in your book. This first definition is not from your book. This was the definition which you used to write up to class 8. So let's see now. This chapter builds a simple definition of democracy step by step. So in this chapter, we have built and made a very simple definition, and step by step, we will work out the meaning of the terms. And step by step, we will work out the meaning of the terms, key terms which are hidden within that definitions. Although when you will read it, it looks so simple, but we will try to understand and highlight some of the important key points and understand their meaning. That is why it's written involved in this definition. So we will understand all the important key terms involved in this definition which we are studying now. As you can see here, simple definition of democracy. This is given in your NCERT book of civics. So the simple definition is democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. See, it's so simple. Democracy is that form of government, such a government where the rulers, the representatives it means, are elected by the people. If we have any form of government, if people are having the right to vote and they are electing their rulers, they are electing their representatives, they are electing the head of the government, it means that country is having a democracies. This is the simple definition given. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Please learn this definition. So now we'll highlight some of the key important points here. Democracy is a form of government. This is completely one key term. We'll have to understand this. Rulers, second highlighted term, by the elected, by the people. So you can see there are four key terms: form of government, rulers, elected, and peoples. We have to understand these four key terms step by step. If you are able to understand forms of government, rulers, elected, and people, it means we will be able to understand the features of a democratic form of government, so that we will be able to easily differentiate between different forms of government. If I give you the example of certain countries, I present some characteristics of a particular country, so easily you will make out, sir, this is a democratic form of government and this is a non-democratic form of government which is pretending to be a democratic form of government. So for that, we will be studying, here I have written it here, the aim is here to understand the clearly their meaning of features and democracy. By these highlighted key terms, our major aim is to understand the features of democratic form of government. So what type, which government we can call as a democracy? For that we have to understand the meaning of these terms. Because if you read this definition, democracy is a form of government. Okay, what form of government? It's written here. It is not clearly mentioned, which form of government. Who are the rulers? Okay, we are going to elect the rulers, but who will be the people who will contest election, to whom we will give votes? What kind of elections? Elections will be held, but which pattern will be followed? Who will be the people who will be casting their votes? It is also not clear. Who are the people? Who are the people who will be allowed to cast vote? What will be the age categories? Will women, children, and all the people around in the society will vote? So, if you will understand the meaning of who will be the rulers, what kind of elections will be held, who are the people, and what form of government will be formed. If you understand these four questions through this definition, we will understand the features of the democracy. So the first feature which we will understand, in a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. So in a democratic country, the first feature is the final decision making power should rest with the people who have, should rest with the elected people who are elected by the people. So the whoever is being elected is the person who should have the final decision making power. So in this way we will understand the first feature, and we will understand with the help of the example. We will understand with the help of the example of Pakistan. We will talk about Pakistan in 1999. There was a military coup by Pervez Musharraf where he established a military rule and he removed the democratic form of the government. Through that we will try to understand what is the first feature of a democratic form of government. This I will be reading it down from your book itself, so you will be able to understand. So one by one we have to do the four features. One is based on this. Who are the rulers? Its example is this, that in a democracy, final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. If this feature you will find in a democracy or in any country, it means that is a democratic country. But it should also fulfill other three features. We will also study them. But in this lecture, we will talk in detail about first feature with the help of the example given in your book of Pakistan. Okay. So let's read it down from your NCERT book and try to understand the concept of what is democracy and why democracy in relation to their important features, and basically to make differentiation between democratic and non-democratic form of the government. So we'll take it from your NCERT book now.
Students, this is the content page of your civics books, and the first chapter you can see democracy in the contemporary world, and the second chapter is what is democracy and why democracy. So directly we have started with the second chapter, that is what is democracy and why democracy. First chapter we have not taken because this chapter has been deleted for this particular session of 2021 and 22 from your syllabus, as according to the new revised syllabus has been uploaded. So we are directly doing the second chapter, but first chapter is very closely linked with the chapter 2, as in the first chapter we have seen, if you will read it, you will find various experiences of the various different countries around the world, experience relating to the democratic form of government, where we will see that how they have made transactions and shifts from a older regime or the older political system to a democratic form of governments. We have seen with the help of the various examples in this chapter, although we will not be studying it, but it is closely related to the chapter number 2. But here in chapter number 2 we will directly understand what is democracy and why it is so important. That is why democracy. What is democracy? Why democracy? Around the world the popularity for democracy has increased a lot. Each and every country, although they may be a monarch rule or it may be a dictatorship or a military rule, but each and every country wants to pretend as if they are following a democratic form of government, as if they are giving their people freedom or the right to elect their own representatives, and those representatives are electing and making laws for them. But it is not true, because it's when we read the definition of democracy, it looks very simple, but we have to look into its various features in this chapter actually, to know the real meaning and real concept of democracy, so that we can easily differentiate between the democratic form of government and non-democratic form of government. So for understanding that, so that you can differentiate, it becomes very important that you should know each and every principle and important features of democracy. If any country wants to be a democracy, what are the required features and what are the important principles which should be followed by that particular state or a country. So this you will be able to understand by this chapter, and easily around the world, if you will go through with any sort of government, you will be able to say whether that government is a democratic form of government or it's a non-democratic form of government. Because at the contemporary world, you will see most of the countries pretend and they try to show that they are following a democratic form of a system in their country, although it is not true democracy. Okay, so to differentiate, we'll understand this chapter in detail with the help of various features. So this is the chapter what is democracy, why democracy, which we have started. So from the very junior classes, 6 to up to class 8, you have been studying and reading the definition of democracy as democracy is the rule of people, for the people, and by the people. This is the most common definition which you used to write in every exam. You have learned it by heart. Okay, but you have not understood the concept behind this definitions and why this words like people has been used again and again within the same definition. So we will read it again. Democracy is a rule of the people. In democracy, this is a form of the government where we have the rule of the people, and those rules are for the people, and those rules are also made by the people, that is by the representatives of the people. So totally we can say in a democracy we have the people's rule. So in democracy we can say people plus rule, that is people's rule means democracy. In a democracy, people will have their rule, although their representatives will be acting on behalf of them, but still the total participation of people you can see in a democratic form of the government. But up to 8th you have been understanding just the upper part. If you see, this is the ground level. 6th, 7th, 8th, in class 6th, 7th, 8th you have been just studying about the political phenomena, that is democracy. What is the exact into practice, the democracy which we see into practice. But now as a student of class 9th, and then you will be going to class 10th, you need to understand the roots now, from where this phenomena has come. Okay, like we will talk about equality also, we'll talk about justice, freedom, we talk about these terms now from class 9th up to 10th, and then in 11th also. So you need to understand the roots of the political phenomena, and in this chapter we are talking about the roots of the democracy, that we don't just here have to mug up the definition and write in the exam. We'll have to understand the concept of this. But this definition was applicable up to class 8th, and it is still applicable, it is very true. But in this chapter, that is what is democracy and why democracy. In this chapter we will be focusing on the simple definition which has been given in your NCERT book of class 9th civics. That is, simple definition is democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. See, it is so simple. Democracy is a form of a government. In our country we see the government which is at the center. It is a form of a government in which the rulers, it means the politicians, the MLAs, the MPs which you elect by voting, those all the people are elected by the people. It means people here are very important. Without people, a government cannot be elected. A form of a government which is running in India, that form of a government, that is democratic form of a government, cannot be elected without the important role of the people. It means in a democracy, people play a very important role. It's the people's rule where people elect their own rulers, own representatives who act on behalf of them. So please understand this definition. Democracy is a form of a government. When we talk about a democracy, it means it is a form of a government. Around the world you will find different type of governments as different type of executives also, but here democracy means a different type of a government in which rulers are elected by the people. So you have to remember, whenever we are talking about a democracy, in that it is a form of a government in which all the rulers are elected only by the people. They are directly elected by the people. Okay, so here some terms are very important when we talk about democracy: form of government, rulers, elected, people. In your book also they have shown through this definition. An entire concept of this chapter will be understood by these four terms: form of government, rulers, elected, and people. Because in this chapter we will be talking about the different features of the democracy. Because if we say a democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people, it does not mean that all the countries where people are or rulers are elected by the people, all the countries are democratic in nature, or in any countries where elections are held, that all the countries are democratic in nature. So we have to differentiate. To differentiate, we need to understand the real meaning of form of government, rulers, elected, and people. So this chapter builds on a simple definition of democracy. Step by step we work out the meaning of the term involved in this definition. So we'll talk about the important terms which have been used in this definition by one, step by step, and we'll try to work out the meaning of these definitions. The aim here is to understand clearly the minimum features of democratic form of government. So in this chapter basically, and in this topic, we are trying to understand some features of the democratic government. Okay, so if we have to recognize and find out which in which country there is a democratic form of government, what will be the features, what will be the principles or characteristics on the basis of which you will make out that that country is a democratic form of government or not. So in this definition we'll have to find the questions: who are the rulers? If we are saying democracy is a form of a government in which rulers are elected, so who will be the people, who will be the rulers to whom we have to elect? What kind of elections? We said they are elected. What method will be used to elect these rulers by the people? Who will be the people who will cast their vote, who will show their preferences? What will be the criteria for the people who all can vote? Okay, so this is also a question. Then form of a government. Democracy is a form of a government. Which kind of form of a government? There are various forms of the governments, so we have to find the answers through this question. Who are the rulers in the democratic country? What kind of elections are held in a democratic country? Who are the people who cast their vote in the democratic form of the government? And what form of government is established in a democratic country? So these are the questions. If we will find the questions to these questions, it means we'll try to understand four features. Okay, on the basis of these terms: rulers, elections, peoples, and form of government, we will read four important features of democracy, and through those four features of democracy, easily you will be able to make out or differentiate between the democratic form of government and non-democratic form of government around the world. And with the help of the examples, we'll understand this one by one. So the very first we'll talk about is who are the rulers. So with the example of Pakistan here, we'll try to understand that. Okay, so in a democratic country, who are the rulers to whom we have to elect by giving our vote? This is the same concept which we have discussed just now. I will just take a reading from it before we start the first feature of the democratic form of government. So let us take back to the discussion on similarities and differences among governments that are called democracies. In the previous chapter, we identified one simple factor common to all democracies: the government is chosen by the people. Okay, so we have seen very examples of similarities and differences between the governments. All those governments are democracies or democratic form of governments, but still there are some similarities and differences and they vary from country to country. but there is a common factor, and that common factor is that every government is chosen, democratic government is chosen by the people. So people have the very important role when we talk about the democratic form of the government. So a very simple definition has been given here, which we have discussed already. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This is a useful starting point. This definition allows us to separate democracy from the form of government that are clearly not democratic. The army rule of Myanmar are not elected by the people. So they are trying to show the differences here. See, this definition allows us to separate democracy. We are trying to separate democracy from the form of governments that is clearly not democratic. It means every country which is allowing its citizens to give vote or elect their representative, it does not mean that that country is a democratic form of government, and this we'll understand here. The army rule of Myanmar, in Myanmar there is the army rule and are not elected by the people, and those army rulers are not elected by the people. Those who happen to be in control of the army become the rulers of the country. People have no say in the decision. Dictators like Pinochet, this is the example of the first chapter. We have not read this. This also applies to the monarchy. The king of Nepal and Saudi Arabia rulers are not because the people have chosen them to do so, but because they happen to be born into the royal family. But if we talk about the king of Nepal and Saudi Arabia, there the kings are not elected by the people, but still as they are born in the royal family, so automatically they become the successor of the king. The simple definition is not adequate. It reminds us that democracy is people's rule. So if we talk about the definition which we have studied, it reminds us that democracy is people's rule. But if we use this definition in an unthinking manner, we may end up calling almost every government that holds elections a democracy. But if we follow this simple definition, that is democracy is people's rule, it means if we think that this definition may lead us to a wrong way, where we may think that every government where we are having elections, that is a democratic form of government, but that is not true. That would be very misleading. As we shall find out in the chapter 4, every government in contemporary world wants to be called a democracy. So in the further chapters we'll also understand, and I have also told you now, at the contemporary world every country wants to be called as a democracy, even if they are not so. They are not the real democracy, but still they pretend to be a democracy. So that is why we are studying this chapter, to have some principles and features through which we can understand the real democratic country or real democratic form of government. This is why we need to carefully distinguish between these governments of democracy, one that pretends to be one. We can do so by understanding each word in this definition carefully and spelling out the features of the democratic government. So we have to understand this simple definition. As I have told you, some important terms in this definitions like form of government, rulers, elected, and people. If you'll understand these terms step by step, we'll be able to find the various important features of democratic form of government. So the very important part of this chapter is, after understanding the meaning and definition of democracy, and also understanding that why this simple definition cannot be concluded as the final definition, where on the basis of that definition we cannot say that in any country where they are having elections is a democratic form of government. Okay, so we'll understand that here. Features of the democracy. So this is the new topic, features of the democracy. We'll understand. We have started with a simple definition. With this chapter we have started, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This raises many questions, but this will raise many questions if you go through by this definition. You will be coming across many questions like, who are the rulers in this definition? If we are saying rulers here, who are the rulers in this definition? Which officials must be elected for any government to be called as a democracy? Which decisions may be taken by non-elected officials in the democracy? Second is, what kind of elections? We have told here, elected means elections. So what kind of election constitutes a democratic elections? What conditions must be fulfilled for an elections to be considered democratic? What system of elections should be considered as a system to be followed in a democratic form of a government? So that is why they have written what conditions must be fulfilled. And then next important part of the definition was people. So who will be the people who can elect the rulers or get elected as rulers? Should they include every citizen on equal basis? Can a democracy deny some citizens this right? So these are the questions from these definitions, and we'll try to find the answers to these questions. And when it comes to what kind of form of government is democracy, can elected rulers do whatever they want in a democracy, or must a democratic government function with some limits? It is necessary for a democracy to respect some rights of the citizens. So this is also a question here for you. So let us consider each of these questions. So we'll consider each of the questions relating to the rulers, to the elections, to the people, and to the form of the government. And with the help of the examples, we'll try to understand and consider each of these cases. So one by one, we are starting with the first one, and we are taking the example here, which is the major decisions by elected leaders. Major decisions by elected leaders. So we are taking the example of Pakistan here. In Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf, you must have heard of his name, led a military coup. He led to a military coup. It means a sudden change in the political situation or a situation of a country. Where here a military coup means before Pervez Musharraf, there used to be a democratic form of government. Although that was also not a true democracy, but still they were having a democratic form of government. But Pervez Musharraf led to the military coup, and he established the military rule in Pakistan in October 1999. Now there was military rule under Pervez Musharraf. He overthrew a democratically elected government. So the government which was democratically elected, that was overthrown, and it was and the administration was took over by Musharraf. Pervez Musharraf, okay, and very soon he declared himself the chief executive of the country. Later he changed his designation to president. So you can see that he was not elected, but he made a military coup, and through which he gained all the powers in hand and overthrew the democratically elected government. Then he elected himself or called himself as the executive of the country. Later on, he gave himself a designation, a position of president. He called himself the president in 2002 of Pakistan, and this and held a referendum. Referendum is a form of the voting, I can say, where people have to answer in the form of a yes or no, where they have to support or they have to oppose. So there elections were held, a referendum in which country had granted him a 5-year extension. So according to that referendum, a question must have been asked that whether 5 years should be extended for this president whose name was Pervez Musharraf or not. But in this referendum, people had shown the support, and that is why his term had increased to 5-year extension. Pakistani media and human rights organization and democratic activities said that the referendum was based on malpractices and fraud. But here, Pakistan media and human rights organization and democratic activists, they proved that this referendum, which was put forward by President Pervez Musharraf, that was based on the malpractices and fraud. Those were not the real and the true elections held or the referendum. Then what happened? In August 2002, he issued a legal framework order. But as he had this referendum in place now, so in August 2002, the same year, he issued a legal framework order. That means he amended the Pakistani constitution, and according to this order, according to that amendment, what he had changed in the constitution, now the president can dismiss the national and the provincial assemblies. Like we have the central government and we have the state governments, in the same way they have provincial. States की जगह वहाँ पर provincial assemblies they are saying, national means central government. So now president got the power where he could dismiss the central government also and the state government also. And national and state government assemblies are the people or which are elected by the people, but now the real power was with the president. The work of the civilian cabinet, as we have the cabinet ministers, now these cabinets of national or the provincial assemblies, those cabinets were supervised by the National Security Council. So now there was another organization in place that was supervising the civilian cabinet, and name was National Security Council, which is dominated by military. And under this National Security Council, all the members were of military officials. It means they were very close to President Pervez Musharraf. So we can see the dominance of military rule here. Although we could see there were assemblies, elected members at the provincial level as well as national level, but their powers were controlled by the military rule through National Security Council, which, okay. Now, after passing this law, elections were held to the national and provincial assemblies. So once the amendments were made in the Pakistani constitution, after that elections were held. So Pakistan had elections, elected representatives have some power, but now elected representatives, they were became the part of provincial assemblies or the national assemblies, but their powers were limited by the President Pervez Musharraf and by the National Security Council, because National Security Council was supervising the cabinet now. So Pakistan had elections, elected representatives had some powers, but the final powers rested with the military officials, General Pervez Musharraf and himself. So clearly there are many reasons why Pakistan under General Pervez Musharraf should not be called a democracy. So now we are trying to differentiate here why Pakistan cannot be called as a democratic form of a government. They are having the elections also, they are electing their people are giving vote and they are electing the representatives also, but still Pakistan cannot be called as a democratic form of government, although they were trying to pretend as if the government is being elected by the people. But why? But let us focus on one of these. Can we say that the rulers are elected by the people in Pakistan? Can we say? Not quite. People may have elected their representative. People have given the vote. They have elected the representatives to the national and provincial assemblies. But those elected representatives do not really, the rulers, they cannot be called as the rulers because they do not have the powers in their hands. They cannot make the final decisions because all the final decisions are made by the that President Pervez Musharraf and the committee which was put forward, that is National Security Council. So the power to take final decision rested with army officials and with General Pervez Musharraf, and none of them were elected. And these, if we talk about General Pervez Musharraf or if we talk about officials, army officials which were a part of National Security Councils, both these members were not elected by the people, and the people or the representatives who were elected by the people, they were not given the powers. So this happens in many dictatorships and monarchies. So this system is followed in many countries which is having dictatorship or monarchies, where the real powers are in the hands of dictators or the monarchy system. But to just show off and to pretend that they are having a democratic form of government, they have the elections in their country. They formally have an elected parliament. They just have a formal parliament in place just to prove to the world that they are having a democracy and government. But the real powers is with those who are not elected. But the real powers are with the people who are not elected, like General Pervez Musharraf and National Security Council. In the previous chapter, we read about the role of USSR in Communist Poland, and so I hope you have understood. So this gives us the first feature. So this is the first feature of democratic form of government because now we can say that in a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. That is the final authority. The final power should be with the people who are elected by the people. But here in the case of Pakistan, we saw the major and the more powers were centralized. The final decision body was General Pervez Musharraf and the National Security Council, and both were not elected by the people. So the first feature, I hope you can understand that if you want to prove or differentiate that which country is democratic, the first principle should be that in every democracy, the final decision making power should only rest with the elected people or the elected representatives which are being elected by the people. So जिनको people ने vote दे करके elect किया है, those people should be the authority to take the final decisions, not people like General Pervez Musharraf or the other agencies like National Security Council, because they were not being elected by the people. Okay, so this was the first feature, and next feature we will discuss in the next video. It will be free and fair electoral competition.